All right. Well, good evening, everybody. Letitia McKnight is here. Welcome, welcome. This is the Leadership TKO Live Night Show. Again, I'm sorry, not even the Leadership TKO Live Night Show. This is the Revitalize, the Total Woman podcast. You see, when you do too many podcasts, you end up saying all types of titles, wrong titles, and such. But welcome aboard, everyone. This is the Revitalize, the Total Woman podcast. And so, even if you're not a woman and you're tuning in, I want you to invite the special women in your life to tune into this podcast. This podcast is a podcast that goes live every Tuesday and Wednesday around 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And this podcast is being brought to you on behalf of Women of Elevation Career Services International. And so, this is a nonprofit organization, 501c3 based out of Chesapeake, Virginia, but it also has a location in Nigeria, Africa. And essentially, our mission for this podcast and the nonprofit really is to empower women, right, with the tools to be able to create, relate, and elevate so you can walk in your God given purposes and truly carry out and live your dream lifestyles. And so, before I dive in tonight to this very special episode, because we are in transition mode with the nonprofit organization and thus, with the content that we're going to be covering. And so what I'm going to do is conduct a watch party inside of the special virtual community area for the nonprofit. It's called Women of Elevation. That's the name of the community area that we do have. Now, you might see the link for those of you ladies that may be tuning in. You should see the link to be able to join that Facebook community area. The link is www.woecommunity.com. I do encourage you to join that community area. So feel free to click on the nonprofit. Link. It's called click on that link when you're able to join that community area so that you can get the latest little tips and strategies. Because what I'm going to help to focus in on during this podcast is helping you to really understand the importance of relationships. We're transitioning into the core area entitled Relate. And so if you're not really familiar with that core area that we have, during the months of May, June, July, and August. Again, May, June, July, and August. That's our transitional period. That's when we cover personal relationships and professional relationship building. That is why we call it Relate 2020. So, of course, 2020 being this year, Relate being the short version for the word relationships. And I want you to understand, relationships are critical to helping us as women to really thrive in our careers of choice. Okay, we have to have healthy relationships, healthy personal relationships, healthy professional relationships. And so, listen, if you're a woman tuning in, I want you to invite every woman you know to join the community area on Facebook that really is comprised of Women of Elevation, okay? We want to elevate women, elevate your mindset, elevate, the status and the conditionings of your relationships. And so I want to encourage you to invite women into this group. We're going to be diving into the real deal, having real conversations about relationships, not holding anything back, being respectful, but not holding anything back when it comes to building relationships amongst one another, as well as personal relationships, so we can ultimately thrive as professionals, whether you are a corporate leader or you are an entrepreneur. And so I want you to invite others, okay? Other women. It's really up to them as to whether they're going to want to be there and stay there, but invite people to join the group because we want to really help them to thrive in this season, especially during the season, okay? Everyone is still quarantining. And so I'm going to be delving into some essential ingredients, elements that's going to help to promote healthy personal relationships. We're going to dive into it, right, really deep on next week, okay? So make sure you write it down in your calendar that on Tuesdays and Wednesdays, 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I'm going to be giving you some really huge nuggets, okay? I know that's like an oxymoron, but nuggets on building personal relationships, and we're going to be having some discussions about relationships too. Stay tuned. I'm going to have a calendar of events that's going to be coming up, healthy discussions about building personal relationships. This is going to be happening, going to be going on in the private community area for Women of Elevation, all right? So make sure you do the inviting. Take them, or actually direct them to go to woecommunity.com. Or if you go to Women of Elevation, there's an area where you can actually put people's names in and invite them to join. So I encourage you to do that. Again, we're going to be getting into some healthy discussion and even, of course, some healthy fun as it pertains to building relationships. So I appreciate your time on tonight. This was a little bit of an introduction. For those of you on my timeline, thank you so much. Again, join the group if you're not there yet. I'm going to be, of course, touching bases gradually. Okay, I know I'm only one person, so gradually we'll be touching bases with the women inside of that group. There's some of you that I'm in contact with often, so you might not necessarily get an inbox message that quickly because I speak with you often. But for those that I don't speak with on a weekly basis, I'll be in touch with you and just seeing how you're doing during this quarantine time. So I appreciate your time. Thank you so much for tuning in tonight to the Revitalize the Total Woman podcast. And the other thing that I will mention before we conclude, we are going to be having a telesummit and, of course, a live event. Now, depending on how things are flowing when it comes to the quarantine, we're looking forward to having a live event sometime either in July or August. Okay? And so we're going to need speakers. We're going to be needing speakers for the virtual event. And it could be in the form of people who want to be on the panel. So we're going to be looking for people who want to really provide great information on, building personal relationships, professional relationships. So if you happen to know those individuals, let them know that there's going to be a call for speakers, and we're going to be providing that particular information throughout social media, specifically on Facebook as well as Instagram. So stay tuned for that information. Look forward, of course, to sowing these nuggets into your life and helping you to grow in the area of your relationships. Thank you so very much, everyone. Be blessed. And we'll be back here with the Revitalize the Total Woman podcast on next Tuesday, this coming Tuesday, 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Be best, everyone. Have a great night. Bye-bye.